All right, welcome back. We continue live right here at Pittsburgh CW. It is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani here taking your calls. Reminder to you, we got a big day of football tomorrow. Pittsburgh at home. The Steelers home opener against Seattle. We have our pregame show beginning at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning live from Heinz Field. And then after the game, even though it's on Fox, after the game, make the switch to Pittsburgh CW. Chris Hoke makes his debut in studio with me. We have 2 hours of Steelers post-game. That's after the Seahawks and Steelers play. And tonight at 11:35, after the late news on KDKA, it's week 2 of the Mike Tomlin Show, presented by 84 Lumber. That's all coming up, so join us for that. In the meantime, we got a lot of people, as you can imagine. Let's go to Dave in Moon Township. First up tonight. What's up, Dave? How are you?
Bob, it would be nice if you people in the media took the time to do your homework. Today was the 100th Pitt-Penn State game. I bet you can't tell me how many of those 100 games was played in Pittsburgh.
What does that have to do with anything?
That has to do with 2-for-1 and all this. 74 of the 100 games were played in Pittsburgh. Why?
Okay,
because
well, look, my point was,
Dave,
Dave,
can I please make my point? Can you please give me
I just want to tell you something before you say that. My point was, moving forward, I would never go for 2-for-1. I want 1-for-1. That's the fairest way to do it.
They played 48 more times in Pittsburgh because Pitt had the bigger stadium for years. That's terribly unfair. Okay, but the second point I want to make is the classness of the Pitt players today, the trash talking, and I'm sure you didn't see this because I was at the game. Okay. At halftime, and I've been going to Penn State games since 1978, the Penn State band director had to chase Alex Kessman off the field because he tried to interrupt the Penn State band performing, and he got what he deserved with that missed field goal. That's karma coming back to bite him in the butt. So
I didn't see that. I wasn't there, so I can't answer. But if you said that happened,
well, that's what happened. I'm not lying. That's what you can ask people that were at the game. He literally had to. I've never seen that since 1978. Except he's going to get it. Pitt is a classless university, and we don't want to play him anymore. We don't need him. Like you said yourself, they need us more than we need them.
Financially, they don't, Dave. All I'm saying is I think for the betterment of the region, they should play. But thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Let's go out to Marilyn in Munhall. Hello, Marilyn. How are you tonight?
Hi, Bob.
What's going on?
I owe you an apology for I said that you thought the series should be over, and I was wrong with that.
What did you say?
I'm sorry. I want to know, why is it so hard to keep this interstate?
It's all greed, Marilyn. It's all. I think Pitt wants to do it. I think Sandy Barber and James Franklin don't. Quite frankly, I just think that's where it comes down. I think they all need to get together, and I'll blame Pitt as well as Penn State. I blame West Virginia as well as Pitt. Whatever the case, they need to figure out a way to play. If not every year, at least some sort of series that makes sense. That's just how I feel. I know money dictates other things, but the bottom line is they're going to make the best decisions for their own universities. But I find it stupid that West Virginia has to travel all over the country to play in the Big 12, and all of this doesn't make sense to me. But I go back a long time ago when I felt that a long time, and I guess I haven't changed. I guess I need to change and move forward, but I just don't like it this way. Let's go to Chris in Freeport. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, good, Bob. I'm just wondering, a couple of years ago we were talking about Franklin, and he was going to be out if it wasn't for a couple of decisions that he made during the game. We're talking about a couple of decisions today with Narduzzi, and I'm wondering,
did you like him? Did you like those?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'll take it or leave it. But I mean, I've been a long-time Pitt fan, and 20 years ago, we couldn't have even guessed or hoped to go into Beaver Stadium and even come close. So I'm just wondering about the general overall thoughts about the program. And I'll hang up.
Well, I mean, I'm not a big moral victory fan when it comes to this kind of stuff, but if your question is how, I think they played well. I thought they were the better team today. I really did. I thought Pitt outplayed Penn State. They had some questionable decisions. It wasn't just that one. It was where they punted. I think they were at the 37-yard line of Penn State. He took a timeout, and then they ended up punting that. Sometimes, they were pretty good in fourth down, and if I have that kind of success, I may continue to do it. Again, the end part of the game doesn't make sense to me, and I would rather try to win the game or at least tie the game there. If you really believe that you want to win in regulations, score the touchdown, add the two-point conversion. Penn State played well defensively. They sniffed out what they had to sniff out. Play calling is always going to be second-guessed. I'm really not here to do that. I looked at it as they made what they thought was the right. It didn't work. But on fourth down, I would have given it one more try. That's all I'm trying to say with that one. Let's go out to Tony in the Hill District. What's up, Tony? How are you?
Hello, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I just want to say that's the game. They should have been embarrassed of that. And I honestly want to say, too, that I think the coaching was extremely terrible when you lose 33-3. And I just also want to ask you, too, where do you think their game plan went wrong?
And you're talking about the Steelers in New England. I guess you said 33-3, so I guess that's what you're talking about. Well, I thought they were too conservative. I thought they played very, very tentatively, quite frankly. They had, the first series with New England, they stopped and they got the ball back. I didn't like the 3rd and 1 decisions. I thought and they did change. They had 3 different ones. I think 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. They were different play calls, but I still believe drop passes will kill you. They did. They stopped drives. That's true. But overall, I just thought the Steelers did not have an aggressive game plan. We'll see. Tomorrow they're going to have a tough test here. Seattle comes to town. That's a good team. They gave up a lot of passing yards to what we saw from Cincinnati last week. That's even without A.J. Green. I think the Steelers can pass the ball down the field, have success. This is not the Legion of Boom Seattle defense that you've seen over the years. They're good up front, but they have some suspect guys, I think, in the secondary. Thank you, though, for that. We appreciate it. Let's go to Vincent in Coriopolis. What's up, Vincent? How are you?
I'm okay, Bob. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I was thinking, they were down by 7. Even if they would have got to 3, they still needed 4, and they couldn't. They still had to get the touchdown.
Right. That's my point. And you don't know if you're going to get the ball back. They got the ball back. They didn't have a whole bunch of time left and only had 1 timeout. So the odds of that happening are not that good. That's why that was your best shot. That's why I believe it. And I know coaches are faced with decisions left and right, a myriad of them in a game, and you can debate them all. That's what we do. But I thought in that case, they would have been better served going for the touchdown, not the field goal. As it turns out, it didn't make the field goal. So now we go up to the top of the board. We have Waylon in Washington. Waylon, how are you tonight?
Hi, Dr. Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Okay, diagnosis. I know it's early in the season, and it's hard to tell. But you really realistically think that the Steelers have a shot tomorrow?
Yes, wouldn't you?
Well, just because what I saw so far, that underneath pass game. And
New England does that to everybody, and they don't lose at home. I'm not necessarily disappointed they lost at home. It's the way they lost. I didn't expect that sort of flat performance right off the bat. And I think, they're better than that. And I think you're going to see the embarrassment that comes with a 33-3 loss manifest itself into motivation. And that's what we'll see tomorrow. I think Steelers will win that game. It won't be easy, but they need to win the home opener, no doubt. And Seattle's going west to east. That's a 10 o'clock start by their time clocks. I just think that's hard for a team to do. Doesn't mean they can't do it. I just think the Steelers are going to be able to tee off in the secondary of Seattle and make some big plays down the field. We're going to take a break. We have Donald, John, Mary, and more coming up right here, live, Pittsburgh CW.